Hi and welcome back. In the next few videos, we're going to be talking about common grammatical mistakes, starting with the comma. So common errors of punctuation involving the comma. I'm not going to explain to you in this video all the things that a comma can do. I'm going to assume that you've already got a fair enough idea of that already from your learning materials, your textbooks, your video lessons, your instructor. Instead, I'm going to concentrate on some things that the comma cannot do and mistakes that students frequently make with it. Now, the error I'm about to go over with you is one that I see often, and it's also one that you would be expected to identify on most standardized exams dealing with this subject matter. So you could find this on a college admissions test. You might even find this on your standard state benchmark examination. And it has to do with using the comma almost as if it were a period. And the error in question is called a comma splice. So this is sort of like using the comma like a period. And it has to do with using the comma to separate what we call two independent clauses. Now, if you don't know what an independent clause is, no worries, I'll explain that to you in just a moment. Okay, so consider the following sentence. So I believe this is considered a compound sentence. You don't need to know that exactly right now. Anyway, I'm just sort of throwing it out there. A sentence, in either case, that consists of two independent clauses. So what is an independent clause? An independent clause is a part of a sentence that could stand as its own independent sentence. It would express a complete thought all by itself, and it could therefore be a sentence. So if you take a look at the two parts of this sentence, it is made up of two independent clauses. The first one being, I was going to walk to the store. You could put a period here, and that would make perfect sense. It would be a complete sentence. It would express a complete thought. The second independent clause is, of course, I decided to ride my bike there instead. That could also stand as an individual sentence. So you could have two sentences here. But there are other constructions we can use to join them together. Maybe instead of two sentences, we want to have one slightly more complicated sentence. Now, what you cannot do, which students do often, is using the comma to separate the two independent clauses. Now, this is considered an illegitimate use of the comma. You cannot use a comma to separate two independent clauses all by itself. You could use a semicolon here, for instance. You could use a conjunction here, such as but. The word but is a conjunction. And yet, because we have two independent clauses here, you would not want to use the conjunction alone, just as you would not use the comma alone, but it's conventional, rather, to use the conjunction with a comma paired together, like so. I was going to walk to the store, comma, but I decided to ride my bike there instead. So using the comma incorrectly, in this way, for instance, in this example, by just having the comma, not the conjunction, that would be an example of a comma splice.